Hey everybody, thanks for buying my humpback whale video. Oh, I loved making him so much. And this is the baby one that I made. Now that's the pattern that I'm going to put up online for you. But if you'd like to make him a little bit bigger, here he is here. All you need to do is just have my photocopy only goes to A4, so maybe you'd like to go up to Officeworks or somewhere and have it made bigger, and then you could make a bigger one exactly the same way. But I look forward to seeing all your whales. All right, everybody, let's get started on our humpback whale. Oh God, I love making him so much. So you can blow this up to a bigger size if you want, and then you will have a bigger whale, or I'm just going to go with this one. So you'll need some, I'm going to write a list of what you need. So this is 22 gauge wire. I'm not using a heavy wire for this little boy because he's not that big. So I'm following the armature down to there. Then I'm going to get another wire. And I'm thinking about, if I cut that in half, maybe I'll just make, I think this is how I did it before. I get 2 wires. And I make these at the same time, so then I get them the same shape. So they're kind of thinner at one end, like that, and then they bulge out a bit at the bottom here, like that. So if you can get that kind of shape going on, and then separate them, or maybe put a bit of a dent there where you want to join them together. Like that. Just maybe once. Join that one. And then this one is going to go over that side. So you'll join, let me just make sure that my video's on. And then we're going to go over that way. Right. Now back to our original wire that was running down here. So at about, let's make a mark. Right there and there. Try and get it the same on both sides. It doesn't have to be completely accurate, but that is where you want your flipper coming out from. I would wrap one wire back up towards the head, like that, of the flipper, and I'd wrap the other flipper wire down with the one heading down the body. So you have one wire going up and one wire going down, like that. It could have come down a little bit more, couldn't it? Let's just see if we can move that down. I don't know if I can. Armatures are tricky things. Okay. That at the tip. Let's move this. Up a little bit. It's a bit too high, wasn't it? Well, this is problem solving for you. Let's put it there. Let's have it come in about the middle there. Now, that's better, isn't it? And this wire can go back up around the head. You can just cut it off, I think might be a little bit easier than going all the way up. Okay, so that's one side done. And now we want it to come down a little bit on the other side. Here we go. And that was going to go that way. So you have one side going up. I hope you can all understand what I'm doing here. And another side going down. Let's cut that wire off so you can get a better idea of what's going on here. So we've got the two flippers and we've got all these wires coming down this way. Like that. So we need to make that come out a little bit more. Readjust that, readjust that, readjust the okay, there we go. Make sure those flippers are even. That's it, that makes them even. Right, bring that out. Okay, and then we're going to put these wires together here, like that, before we put on our tail wire. Okay, so I'd fold that in half, like that. Maybe put it through there so it's nice and secure on that. Wrap it around once and the other one the other way. Okay, now we have our fin going on down here. It goes down a little bit more before we start pushing it out that way. Now you might want to do these together like that. Oh, that like that. Bend that down to there. Give that a very sharp twist back and around and up back to there. It's like a mermaid, isn't it? And open that up. Tail goes. You're trying to make that shape there. So that goes back up there. And that one does too. We're going to make the felt mostly with the shape, mostly with the wool. So don't worry about it too much. Might be nice though if you have a little wee tip going on at the end of there. And then drag this bit out. Like that. These need to be okay. So It's a little bit like it looks a little bit like a coat hanger. Don't worry too much if you don't get it perfect, because the wool, it's just a guide for the wool. It's not, and we can work it out a little bit more as we go. Okay, so just make him nice and flat. All right. Now I will pop some other pictures in of whales for you to have a look at, or you can look them up yourself online. Right, so that's out like that. Now you might want your whale really kind of big, but mostly they're going under from here. All right, let's put our pipe cleaner on. Let's start at the top here. Oops, a bit of wool there. Keep going around. You don't need it very tight, you just need it on there. Try and tuck all your little bits of wire in with it. Like this bit that's sticking out here. Especially if you're going to give it away to a child. You don't want sharp bits of wire sticking out. There you go. Now here, for the fins and the tail, I think what we'll just do, put that pipe cleaner, make sure it's on the wire there, and then we're just going to do a shape like that. Just so that the wool has something to stick to. On both sides. Like that. Right. That's it. And one around the bottom here. I'm just going to go around like that way and then back this way and then back over and up and around like that. Okay, so now he's done. Give it a little bit wider there. Okay, let's put that aside and start with our core. Now, you can, sometimes I'll just show you a little trick here. I have all this spare wool. Sometimes you could put all that in the middle there and then start your core. And it's a good way to get rid of your core wool. But maybe get a piece like this if you don't have a lot of left over. And you might want to just put that in the middle like that to start with. And then you can get your core, find out which way you want to cut it. It's stronger one way than it is the other. Like that. Okie dokie. Let's just cut it up. It's quite strong that way. And then I'm going to start wrapping it. I think it's too thick. You can split it. I'm just going to wrap this so this piece stays on. Just getting some wool on this before we start shaping. Now you have to decide quite quickly which is going to be the top of your whale. and which is going to be the bottom of your whale. It's going down here to the tail. Don't want to make that too thick down there. Just wrapping that around. Right, so he's pretty flat at the moment, but what we want to start doing is building this big bulk of his belly. Oh, here's another picture underneath here. Okay, so you might want to think about that, but I don't think you need a lot of pictures. Maybe just have a look online, get a picture of a whale up like that, and you'll see quite quickly how to start making that shape, which I'll show you now. Is if you get another piece of wool and roll it, not tight though, and we want it coming down from under here, so maybe bring it along like that and put that there. See how he's starting to get that shape already? Okay, and then we'll wrap his wings as well. His wings. His flippers. Try and get that little dent up here and there, and just wrap it around like that. You want to keep it fairly small at that end. This call's so lovely, it just goes on, and you don't even really have to spend a lot of time wrapping it. Around like that. Okay. Now we want to keep those fairly thin, those flippers, so don't go and put like a huge amount of wool on them. Make sure the wraps that you're putting on are quite thin. Just trying to get the shape here at the moment, not so much making them too thick. And remember, we've got the top coat to go on yet, so don't make them too thick. Maybe at this point you might get that down, so maybe only 2 wraps will do it. Like that. Okay. All right, that's definitely his underneath now. Give that a bit more of a poke. Now I'm going to put a wrap on his tail, which also we're trying hard not to put a huge amount of wool on. Around like that. Just keeping it very thin. Just put a little bit more on this other side, or maybe in the middle there. A little bit on the other side. We go like that. Okay, he's starting to get there, isn't he? All right, I think I might put another layer down here on his belly. Just get a nice big flat piece and bring that through like that. Fatten him up. Right. Wow, that's looking great, guys. I'm really getting happy with him. Okay, so I might just put a little tiny thing on his head here. Now, the humpback whale, if you have a little bit of a study of him online, his jawline comes out a lot further than the mouth. So that's what we're going to work on now. Could probably cover that pipe cleaner up there with a little bit of wool. Now you want this whale about not as firm as your mat. Depends what you're going to do with him too. Right. Right, like that. So that's that actually looks more like a shark, like that, doesn't it? But if we turn him up that way, then he looks more like a humpback whale. Just going to make his inside here a little bit firmer. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make a piece that goes... The unusual thing is his mouth goes kind of underneath like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a piece of, like we're going to make his mouth. So let's just pull some wool out. Now what I want to do is make that go over like that and start shaping it. Maybe you want to have a check first to see what point that is. Like that. You can always cut it, but I think you want this quite thin. So that's going to go over the top there. Now you want to pull it right out at the sides here, and that's for his eyes. Okay, so the mouth is going to come along and then down. So let's... The eyes are just before the flippers. So let me cut that so it's a little bit more felted like that. And I'm going to put that on top. Okay, let me just blend this piece of core in here. Into the top. See how I've got where his eye is coming down there on both sides, and his mouth is coming along on the top there. And blend all that in. So now we've got a definite jaw here. Don't bash it down too much because we want to use that in once we start putting on his colour. We might have to cut that a bit later. Okay, so I'm going to shape this a little bit more. You can make sure you keep that little wedge that we made there in the back. You might want to pull this over quite tightly. Keep that bit at the tail there quite thin as well. Do the other side. Just a little bit of core around like that. Just give that a bit more shape. Be careful with your tool here with all that wire underneath. So now I'm just going around the tail, just making sure it's not too thick. And just over the whole thing, really. Making sure layer after layer of core that you've put on is joined to the core that you have below it. That's the trick, is the layer and layer of core wool. See how deep these needles are going in to sort that out. And then we'll reassess his shape. I feel like he needs to go back here. Don't make him too fat here underneath his jaw. See there, he needs a real rounded shape there. Now remember, with the colour going on top, you need to make all of this quite definite, and he needs to really look like your whale before you start putting any colour. I think I can go a little bit more wool, a little bit more of a stomach through here, I think. I think that'll look nice. Just up to there. You're really... Now, with this, don't felt it down too hard, this last piece on top of his stomach, because what we want to do is go and make some lines in it. Now, if you felted that into a really hard piece of felt, you're not going to be able to go ahead and put your lines in. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Okay. So... Okay. Just trying to make sure that he looks like a whale before we go starting to put any. The lines are going to go down to about there on him. So, right. I feel like he's probably right. Now, what I've done is I've done up a bit of a blend of some, you know, natural light and a little bit of English Leicester and a little bit of honey and a few different colours here just for a bit of fun. But, you know, I'll probably just put on the list. If you've got other fibres that you want to mix in, by all means go for it. But I just thought, you know, they're pretty gnarly looking underneath these whales. You know, they've got a lot of things going on. So I just thought, well, I'd put a lot of different fibres in as well. So let's just start by putting, yeah, so I've just blended that up on, you know, you can blend it up with your hands like that. I'm going to pull it out too much. There's even a tiny little bit of blue in there, look, underneath. So have a look underneath and see what you like, but there's just a hint of it coming through on the top there. Oh, we've even got some. Right, so what I'm going to do with this first lot is make sure it comes up and over the mouth there, or the chin, I should say. Oh, no, that's the, oh, sorry, I've got it on the wrong side. The white goes underneath. Okay, let's regroup here. Okay, so I want that nice piece of, it needs to go up and over like that and into his mouth, and then you can start with your multi-tool just gently putting those fibres in. Just like that. Just like that. All the way down. He's white all the way down to underneath his tail. Now, don't bash it in too hard, because what we're going to do is, got some sticks in there from one of those fibres. Is like I said, we're going to put those lines on there. So right in underneath his mouth, make sure you give that a good bash, his bottom jaw. Yep. And then if you've missed a little part here, let's get a little bit more. You can come in from in his mouth like that, out underneath, through here. On the other side as well. Underneath there. Right. Okay, and make sure that he's a little bit flat through there underneath his mouth. Because when, see like that, you want that. He starts his lines from just underneath his mouth there. Okay, so let's make sure all this fibre is actually in. You've got to make sure the fibre is stuck to the core wool, the top fibre. All right, so let's put on his top, and then we'll see where we're at. We'll shape all his mouth. Now, I went a little bit crazy with this. I've mixed up some, well, they're generally black, these whales, but I've mixed in I just want a tiny little bit of English Leicester in here, and I'm going to pull this right out, and then I'm going to do the same and put that right over the top. He's got a little bit of navy in there as well. Now, what you might want to do before you put it on is shape. That might be a bit too much fibre. Generally, all right, I just want to bring this in a little bit, because look at his little lip here that we're wanting to cover. So these fibres are going to go over the top into the lip like that. You've got to make sure you get it down. The other thing you can do is put your mat in like that and do it that way. Or get a smaller, if you've got a smaller mat, often I'll have a smaller mat here. I've taken them all to Hobart last week teaching. But sometimes I'm using a small, medium and a large one of my mats. So it's quite helpful. Can you see what I'm trying to achieve there? That is going to come over the top. And let's just bring it right down the back. Now it's like wallpaper. You need to bring it right down to the edges of the flippers. And down the sides here, and it actually comes down. They come down a bit. Let me show on this one. Like that, and then back up. So make sure you get it coming down like that. Get a real nice shape, sweep of the wool, and then it comes back up. Now you might find then when it comes back up that you have too much wool. So don't be afraid to cut it off a bit, because you don't want to be just shoving wool where it shouldn't be going, because then you're going to end up with problems. Now those bits you cut off, you can use them on the tail, or let's see how we go here. Take that bit right in and under there. So yes, just blend together whatever wools you've got. Black, chocolate brown, a little bit of indigo maybe, or a little bit of blue. Oh, excuse me. But yes, just he's naily. These old whales are naily. They've got lots of different colours in them. They're not just, they don't look like the orcas, which are just, well, they're not either, but black and white. Okay, so once you've got that on, then you can go with your single needle and tidy it up a little bit. Just poke some of those fibres in that way. Just make it a little bit tidy. Make sure you have a look at it from both sides and have a look underneath here. You can tell. Make sure that your white is, see, we're missing a little bit of white here. You put a little bit down there. So that doesn't, now the white goes underneath his tail, so you can run that through there. On the other side, see you can see the core there. So make sure you cover all the core up with the right colour. That can come down this way to go onto the tail. So you're going to have to make sure that you get all those fibres in. Just keep working on it. I like to work with my needles on the side there, because then I feel like I'm going faster. I know I'm going faster because I can see the wool being felted. Okay, right. So we're looking good. Loving him. Loving the shape of him. Loving that blue. I put a tiny flick of blue through the white underneath. I'll write down the colours that I did in case you have them at home. Right, now let's do his tail. So if you get some more of that wool, I think I put a little bit too much English Lister there, so we won't get too much of it. But what I'd like to do is put that, just trying to gauge that. All right, that's on both sides. Right, let's try and do that shape. So what I'm going to do is lay that over the top. So it's in a point at the top. And then it goes out like that, doesn't it? I think, let's try and make a thinner piece of felt, so we don't have so much felting to do when we put it on. Maybe turn it over. Getting that little triangle through there. Like that. It needs to come out a little bit more. Maybe you can pull some of that off at the bottom and put that on the side, so it's all the same colouring. You can use your little clover tool. Another one on this side. Like that. I'm going to put that out there. So what we want to do now is do one for the other side as well, because they're the same underneath. So if we do them together, we should get them about the right size. Turn it over. Maybe your little clover tool is I find this quite good for making little flat pieces of felt, but I don't find it brilliant for making, you know, structures. So a little bit like that, okay? And then what we're going to do Not sure which one to put on first. I feel like the white one might be better going on first. So I'm going to make sure I secure it very well to the tail, to this part of the, I'm going to bring it out here along where the wire is, bring it through here, through here, we don't want that really thick. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely to leave his tail like that? Oh, there's an idea. Instead of doing a traditional tail, do a... Oh, I love that. Oh, it looks so lovely. Oh, I don't know that I can do that on this video. But anyway, you guys. Right, so once that one's on, then we can go and put this one on this side. What I'm doing here, add that all to there. Turn it over, get it from this side. You can start with your single needle, make sure it's all felted down hard. Your 38 twist would be a good one for this as well. Twist the fibres in as it felts very quickly, very fast. Flattening down all these fibres. The barb is twisted, so it's going like that as it goes in. This is a finishing needle. Right, I love that like that, but we're not going to do that. But however, I'm thinking it's easier to see it on the white. Maybe we'll shape it and right up like that, and this way, right up like that, and maybe, just maybe, just pop that down. I might just leave that a little bit whimsical. Make sure those fibres are together. And I like that. All right, now for his flippers, we're going to do exactly the same thing, which is, let's get 2 pieces, I think like that. That beautiful English Leicester there. All right. Don't bring those fibres down too much because they're good for attaching. This feels like it needs a little bit more fibre. Maybe there. And turn that over. And we won't have to fold it so much when we get it onto the whale. All right, there we go. And now we're going to do the same with some of this. Not that much. Let's pull this out a bit. I got this English Leicester down in Bendigo at the wool show, and it's quite lucky that I came across it, and I love it. She only had one fleece, this lady. It's not like she's got 20 of these sheep or anything, so it's not that easy to get. But I do have other English Leicester in my shop, which is beautiful as well, which is in the white, actually. That's the one in the shop. But this one with the caramel through it, it's a little bit tricky because it has to be, I have to wash it and all sorts of things, and it's quite difficult to make bulk of it to sell. Well, I only got one fleece, so a little bit difficult to but you can use other fibres. There's lots of fibres you could use in this. Tussar silk would be lovely. Would give the whale a really shiny look. Be lovely. All right, so I'm going to make sure that they're relatively the same size. I'm going to cut that off at the top, and these two are as well. You know, it's just splitting hairs really, this, but it makes me feel better that I've put them up together and made them look like they're the same. Right, now this one is going to go, I'm thinking put the rounded edge there so you can join that to the top there. Now you might need a single needle straight off. Might want to put it down at this, from this end, to make sure that you have enough fibre. I haven't seen what you've done, so make sure there's enough fibre. Right. There we go. And then the other one is going that way. Make sure you look at both sides of your... Oh, now, look at that sticking out the end there. I don't want... You might see that with the white. So I'm just going to cover that with... Now that's why we use the right coloured pipe cleaners. But it's a little bit tricky with a project like this where underneath is white and on the top is, you know, a chocolatey. I didn't want to put black because I didn't want the black to come through the white. But anyway, it'll all work out. Get it all a bit too fussy sometimes, I think. Right, so now's the time when you might want to put your whale on the side of the mat like this. Trying to think about the shape of the I've been making so many birds lately. Now I don't want to upset this beautiful stripy effect going down, so I'm just going to cut that off there. because I want that to go up like that. But I do want to soften a little bit of felt underneath his wings, because I'm going to cut some. Now these might take you a while to get right. Now why I'm doing the white first, because if the dark was on the other side, the white would start coming through. So I feel like it might be better if it comes through this side, particularly because it's the underneath side. You can also give it a bash from this side, is helpful, on the core wall there, and then this side. Oh, you're hitting wire now. I am bashing a fair amount, but I'm not bashing hard enough that I am going to break my needle. Oh, touch wood. I say that and then I break the needle. But you should be able to bash around your wire without. Okay, look at that. That's looking great. Now we're going to put the top ones on, which are going to go on. Now one might sit better on one side than the other, so make sure you have a look. Oh, they're going that way, aren't they? That's right. It's all coming back to me. It's so funny. I made this whale, you know, 2 weeks ago. Now, I'm so sorry. This is being made for the chat, but I've been very behind with my projects because of, now I'm going to cut that off like I did before, because I want that wool running that way. I don't want that to go over. Yes, because I've been traveling a lot teaching, and so I'm very behind with my felting at home, which is such a shame. So I'm very sorry that I have been away, and let's just get that going down there at the end. The other thing you can do is cut it a little bit if you feel that that might help. Let's take a little bit of wool out of the end there. See how I did that? And then it's going to have a bit more shape. I want this to have a little bit more shape here. Right. And then this one's going on like that. Okie dokie. So get him going down. So here in Brisbane, these whales are going past right now, which is why I chose the humpback whale. Now I might cut that like I cut the other side. like that. It feels like too much wool there, so I might just cut that off too. See what happens here. Just keep working on those wings until you... I'm taught probably about 400 people in the last 6 to 8 weeks birds. So when you've taught 400 people over 6 to 8 weeks, and then you only birds, kookaburras, galahs, and magpies. So now I'm calling these flippers. They're a little bit like wings, but not really. Okay, so the other thing that they have, these humpback whales on their flippers, if you get that wool all down with your... This takes a little bit of time. It took me a little bit of time with the other whale that I made, my prototype, but you can get a little pair of scissors and cut out little bits of wool in here and make it a little bit jagged, like the whale, humpback whale has a little bit. Now what you need to do is just start working in there with your needle like that, where you've cut, and then you'll start getting these little jagged bits. Okay. Just get in there with your needle and make a few little take a little bit of time to get it right. Sit here for about 20 minutes doing this, getting these little lumps and bumps all in like that. Do on both sides. Maybe your twist needle might be better. Depends a little bit on the fibres you've used as well. That off. It's not that easy to see actually on this particular mat I've chosen. Like that. And you can cut the little fibres off if you want that are in the way. Make sure that this one's down as well. Takes a while to get it all in place. Don't do that if you haven't been felting long, because it's a good way to bang your finger. Just keep working it. The red spiral twist needle here that I'm using is great for this sort of work, flattening it all down. See how it's flattening it all in there like that? Yep. Then on this side, the other way you could probably do it is just cut it like that. And then it's probably easier to see on this side. Work all those fibres together where the cuts are into more of a pointed bit. Let me have a look on the other side. It's easier to see on the other side, isn't it? Just keep working at it. Putting those bits together. The 40 star might be good for this because it moves just one fibre. It's quite a sharp needle, this, for such a fine needle. It's quite a workhorse, the 40 star. Underestimated needle in my opinion. I use it for a lot. People say that you should just use it for putting in eyes and everything, but make sure you get all this fibre down flat along the wings. Make sure you're poking your fibre away from you like this, and then you won't hit your finger. Okay, right, you need to play. Oh, I did that on the wrong side. Look at that. Should be on the top side. Oh, isn't that silly of me? Right, here we go. It's me not concentrate. Well, I am concentrating. I just don't know why I did that. I'll just pop those off there and then work it on the top. Oh, that's what I love about needle felting. Everything is so fixable. I'll start again up here. Yes, they're not really on the underside of the wing. Make sure you get it quite fine in here at the bottom. I'll show you just in here. Can you see that where it's... Need to really get in there and make that fine where it joins. You can cut away fibre if there's too much fibre there. But really try and get that fibre down. See how it's very thin there? Get that really, because that'll make it look way more realistic. You get that fibre right in there. Yeah, that's looking better, isn't it? Could go in a little bit further to match the other side. Okay, I think I'm going to leave that now. You've got the idea. That could be trimmed a little bit to make that a little bit sharper, like that. I'm not going to trim his tail too much, just a little bit to make that look a little bit sharper, like that. Now let's do his back up here to his eye, which make sure you've got it coming down like that. Get a little bit more of the colour that you're using. It's really coming down like that. Right, so this is what we're going to do, this here. So I'm going to make his eye, I don't know, I think I might make it a lighter browner colour, just so that you can see it better. So I'm going to make it quite a round ball of an eyeball, like that, so you can really see it. So you put that there. Just use a bit of toffee or cookie or any brown. See how that's much lighter? Keep it like an eyeball. It's way too big, but I'll show you what we're going to do. Coming down there. Make him with a closed mouth now. Close his mouth up. You might want to get bring that forward a little bit more. Not quite as back as much as that. Have a look on your picture. Okay. Right. And then we're going to make an eyelid out of the wool that you had, like this. So we're going to put one over the top and one over the bottom. Let's see, if you bring it out quite wide, you'll be able to use it for the top and the bottom. Just pull it out before you felt it too much. We're trying to make it relatively thin, which is why I'm using this clover tool, just to get that really thin. Okay, I'll cut that in half. And then what we're going to do, let's put, oh, make sure you have it nice and sharp. I'm going to put that over like that. So maybe cut that one in half. And then you can put that over the top as his eye. I don't like that fibre going back like that, so I'm going to cut that off. I hope you can all see this. Maybe I should use eyes that are lighter so that you can all, because those are not, maybe this colour's better. And then you'll be able to see Sorry about that. I just realised, I thought, oh, they're a bit too dark for you all to see this well. That's better for you, isn't it? See, it doesn't really matter what colour you make them. You can Google there we go. And then that was our one side. Then we're going to put this over. Oh, that was the piece at the top there. I'm doing this rather quickly because the video is getting quite long. This is lie it over like that. Put the other one underneath here, like that. You can fuss and fiddle with this for as long as you like. Maybe cut it back to down like that. I want to give him a tiny little black pupil. Looking for some black here. There. And a tiny little bit of white as well. Maybe I'll, some really long fire. I need my 40 star. Get into the eye there. There we go. And then maybe the tiniest hint of white fibre in just in there, like that. Right down at the bottom though. You would struggle to do this without a 40 star. There. He's got a he's got quite a definite eye there. Then this is the one for the other side. You could actually you might want to put on the pupil before you put the eyelid on. I'll do that so you can see. Tiny, tiny little bit of white, like that. There in the top left. This is easier to see. And then we're going to cut this one in half. And I'll put that over the top. I'm not wanting those fibres to go that way, so I'll get rid of that. And I'm quite happy that to go up there and those fibres to come down that way. See how much we've put down the other side, not that much. Cut it back a bit that way. And use that's it. And then Right. He's come down a little bit more over there. Oh, he's looking good. Okay, so you can get a piece of black. Just struggling to find any black here. I've always got black. I'll just have to grab some. Oh, here we go. And put that around here for his, where, make sure he's joined, the mouth is joined. You can take just a few fibres and join his mouth down. Ow, that's a rare thing that I do. Right, then you can spin this out very thin. Sometimes you do hit yourself. And you could put this black going through here and down and under, and it goes back out under his eye there. Around here, through here, there's a little bit more, out, and mouth goes under and up there. Make sure you okay. I can stand up a little bit more there, a little bit more there. Okay, now underneath, what we want to do here is make these lines. So if you get your 36 and go all the way, this is a tough needle. You might want to do it a few times. Then you want to go next to it. Try and keep them even. Try all your needles and see which one you like best. Maybe the 38. Sometimes it's not really obvious which needle would be best for what kind of work. So, sometimes I'll use one needle and then I'll think, oh, maybe the twist would be a better one for this. Twist seems to be working well. Might have to spend a bit of time doing this. Not gonna just happen. You might have to go up and down these lines 3 or 4 times. Put them all in and then go back. Do them again. Do one side and then the other. Now this is only possible if you haven't hammered down your wool so hard that there's no bounce left in it. And if you're using a different wool to a woolly core wool, I don't really know how that will work. Can't guarantee that you'll get this same effect. While woolly wool is very bouncy, which is great for different projects where you wanted to put a lot of character in. See how much character we're getting in here with this. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. So then I'm just going to get a lighter kind of wool, maybe a medium, this medium, natural medium. And then I'm going to start putting in a very fine amount of it into the grooves, like that. Anchor it right down at the top and then drag it through and anchor it at the other end and a couple of times in the middle. There we go. All right, this might take a little while to get it all in. I'll sit here because I'm sure you're sitting there doing it. Just makes the video very long though. So I'll try and go quickly. I may not secure mine in completely. I may turn off the video and work a bit harder on mine, because I've got one more thing I want to show you. There we go, another line in. Maybe you want to switch up colours and put a little bit of a darker line in it at one point, or not. I don't know. Sometimes they have a little bit. That's nice. Try different fibres. Maybe just a little bit of dark here and there instead of just a natural, natural colour. That looks nice. Not black though, I wouldn't think. Got all different coloured browns here I could use. This is why it's good to have your all your end bits on your table, because as you're working on projects, you can use up all your old wools. I'll put a little bit of just all different coloured lines, I think is really the go. That looks good. Just wherever it looks a bit light with the other one, put in a couple of fibres. That one's a bit light through there. Just put a little bit here. Okay. think I'm fairly happy with that. All right, now what I want to do is, they normally have all these big lumps and bumps all over them, don't they? Have you noticed that with them? So I'm going to do those in, I did put some grey aside here. Yeah, grey blue that is probably from another. Oh, sorry, I hope that hasn't been like that for very long. Did I just do that? I'm just going to put some gnarly lumps and bumps on him. They sit off him. That would be nice. They're not big. There's some lighter ones. Just roll them in a ball. They go all around the front of his face. I don't know what they are. They're like warts, I guess. It's funny, isn't it? Don't make them too big, or just randomly put them around. You might want to mix them a little bit with another colour, blend them up a bit so they look a bit weirder. I don't want anything that's too same. Around his mouth here he's got, and they're underneath as well. Had a good look, they've all got them. Random lumps. Might be the finer needle that helps you get all those last little fibres in. Look how good it is at doing that. Just like that. So mix a little bit of black and slate and fog. Just get some greys and blacks and maybe even some blues. It really doesn't matter. Be creative. When you stick to one colour, I don't think it's going to be as interesting. When I googled what colour are humpback whales, a lot of the websites said black. But when I looked at a lot of pictures of them, some said black and grey, and yeah, they were actually all different colours. I think it's a bit of a understatement to just say they're black. I didn't really see that in my research. And others said they even can be brown. Black and brown. All right, so a few more lumps. They need to be flattened down, and not flattened down, but pressed in a little bit more. Like that. Okay. I'll probably fuss and fiddle with him a little bit more. I've got to finish doing his, see how his eye's sticking out there a little bit more, because I haven't quite felted that down. His mouth probably needs to be shaped in a little bit more there. This mouth can go down a little bit more as well. Just final touches on him. But otherwise, I'm quite happy with him. And Big Mama here now has a baby with her. So they go. Okay. Thanks everybody for buying the class. Sorry everybody, just realised I forgot the little wee fin on the back here. So let's have a go at that. Try one more time to finish up. Turn that over like that. Just start felting that up. Into a fin shape, into a triangle shape, a little shark shape. Just keep felting and felting until you feel like it's felted enough. And then what you can do is make sure, cut it to the size you want. Nice and sharp like that. Yep. Now the fin is quite a way back actually. It's, yeah, it's not really in up here like a shark. It's actually down like that. So let's take that colour off because you're going to see that. And let's lay it this way. Make sure you leave a lot of water so you can really put that on there. And I have no question that that is going to come off. Once you got it down there, maybe the twist needle is better to twist all those fibres down and into the... I feel like he needs to go down a lot. Now see how it goes back like that? So you might want to, this all has to come down a lot more. Like I said, I'll spend about another 20 minutes on him now, fixing him up a bit. But you can do that by cutting it back that way. Right there. Yeah, to there. And maybe shape it so it's down a little bit more. That's better, like that. Yep. And then just keep going around and around and around here until you have that really, really thin, that back bit there. You, like I say, you want to get down on the side of your table and just keep working that around, and the tail and the fins. Just keep working that down till you've got a much smaller piece of felt there. Yeah, that's looking better. Put him up like that. All right, everybody. Great, you can bend his... Oh, he's so sweet. All right then, thanks everyone.